Patty, I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things to do when we're RVing is eat.
I like to eat.
And sometimes we go out for dinner.
Yes.
But I actually enjoy cooking
I
at
know
the
you do.
campsite. And I thought we'd talk about some different ways that we cook and some of our favorite meals campsite in this episode of Travels with Delaney,
The podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And if you are new to our podcast, this is Truman. He's joining us here on the old podcast couch. Miss Bess is sitting over in the theater seats. That's where she prefers to be for these. And
Right.
if you're like, who are these people? Well, they're our Cavalier King Charles Spaniels.
Yes, and they just had a spa the other day, and they are just soft and smell so good.
They really do.
They're like little air fresheners.
So, Patty,
Always. Yes.
as we record this is a Thursday.
Yes, it is.
How many days do you have left in your teaching career?
I have, to be technical, 1.5.
Okay. Well, what have you been counting?
One with the students.
One with
more.
the students.
Yes.
Yeah, one. Tomorrow is your final ride
Yes.
as a teacher.
Right.
At least for the time being.
Yep.
You
And
can always go back if you.
sure. Yeah, I did everything to renew my license. I'm just waiting on my CPR certificate that I did my training, and I'll be good to go. And of course, you got to pay a fee, but
Right.
in Indiana. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. I sent you a video today of my room,
Empty.
and man, does it echo! I
bet.
didn't realize how much it echoes when there's nothing on the walls. I took everything basically down because the new person's going to do their own thing. And I left a lot of things for that new person because they're going to be teaching reading. And, yeah, so
And they threw a little surprise retirement party for you?
They did.
your
I
team?
knew today, this afternoon, the teachers, my teaching friends and I, we had planned to get the kids ice cream because of how hard they worked for their state test, I learned test. And because that's a bear, we did, all these checkpoints and all that. But anyway, so I knew that. But then right before it happened, the class I had, it was 6th period. I have a boy in there, Elijah. And he blurts out, Miss McCormick, when are we going to have the party with cake? And I said, cake? Who has the cake? And I'm telling you, the rest of the kids erupted. They're like, Elijah, you can't keep a secret. And then one girl goes, cake? We're not having cake. We're just having ice cream. What's he talking about, cake? They're trying to divert,
Yeah.
They're trying to divert me. And then later they're like, Elijah can't keep a secret. And so then I knew we were taking him down the hallway, and we were going to talk to him first. And then when I turned the corner, there's the table set up, and I knew they were doing that. But then the cake, there was 2 cakes. One was vanilla, one was chocolate. And then 2 plants, one for Kathy Ray, who's also retiring, who teaches science, myself. And then the kids had made these cute little cards and little things. And, of course, everyone wanted to hug, even kids that I don't even have who are in the special ed program that I don't see. They were wanting to give hugs and whatnot. So, yeah. And then we took them outside just for a little bit so they could eat their ice cream and play a little bit. So, yeah, we had a little celebration. And it was good. It was great. It was fun. I told them all, my team, I said, this is so sweet. You guys didn't need to do this. They're like, we have to do that. You're sweet. And I'm like, aw, thanks.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Nice. That is nice.
Mhm.
Well, Patty, speaking of desserts,
Yes.
we need to do another exciting round of this or that.
Nice transition, babe.
Speaking of desserts, Patty,
Ooh, all right.
if these are your only 2 choices and you have to eat dessert,
I have to eat dessert.
you have to
Okay.
eat dessert.
Darn.
Which one are you going to choose?
Okay.
Are you going to choose red velvet cake, or are you going to choose tiramisu?
Ooh.
I know you don't like either of them. Well, I've been way too nice
You're
lately.
mean. I'm just going to say no to the tiramisu because there's coffee in it. I've had that before. I'm going, I guess, with the red velvet cake.
Red velvet cake for the win,
If I have to gut it out, it's not as bad as tiramisu, but I
love
just
a
can't
good
handle.
tiramisu.
It's coffee. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. All right.
I'm out on the tiramisu. I'm out.
You're out. You're out. Well, I just thought let's give you 2 hard choices, like not where they're both things you love, but things that I know you normally you would never order.
Now at this place, this imaginary bakery place you're at,
Yeah.
do they have German chocolate cake?
No German chocolate cake because everybody knows that's what you would
my
order.
favorite of
That's your
all
favorite.
time. Yes. Do they have Lemon ice cream.
No, that was not an option this week. So
Would you do the tiramisu?
I'd definitely do the tiramisu. I'm not a fan of red velvet cake. I know people
No.
love it.
Our nephew loves it.
I just don't care for it at all.
Mm-mm.
And
I don't think it has a flavor.
no, it's even when I talked to Chef Cheryl at the college years ago about it, she said really there's no real flavor
Yeah,
to it.
I don't get it,
It's,
but I don't know. But to each his own,
anyway,
right?
Each his own. But speaking of eating, I thought this week it would be fun to talk about different ways that we cook outside of our RV at the campsite and talk about some of those. And then also share maybe one or two items for each of those that you really enjoy.
I like to eat, so this is good.
I know. This is right up your alley. Patty was like, I can't talk about cooking. I can
do the eating part.
But she's like, yeah. So.
I enjoy the eating part. Yeah.
Yeah. So one way you can cook at your campsite is over an open wood fire.
Yes, we've done that before.
We have done that. We used to do a lot of that in our early years. And there's different ways you can do that. You can buy a simple little
like what they call
cooking
that grate.
Yeah,
goes over the top of your
right. You know, I've seen them where they legs fold out and you put it over.
Like a parallelogram.
I've got one that's on a post.
Or a rhombus.
Oh
throwing out those terms.
That'll give me a headache. We have one. We still own one, a big cooking grate that's on a post that swings out over the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And here at the campground, like all of our cabins have fire pits with a cooking grate.
Yes.
Sometimes you go to campgrounds, they'll have those cooking grates.
Right.
And I don't know. One of the challenges with cooking over an open wood fire to me is you can't just light a fire and start cooking. Like, it needs to be going for a while so you get those nice coals.
Yeah, you got to get those hot coals going.
Yeah.
I know that much.
And one of the reasons, the one that we do have, we still actually own it. It's a tripod.
Yes.
With a cooking grate that you can raise
elevate and lower.
And I really like that because depending on if the fire's too hot or not hot enough, you can raise and lower.
Yep.
But if I was going to say, let's cook over the open fire, what might be something that you remember from the past that we did?
I don't know why with that thing you just talked about, the peaches flambé.
Peaches flambé. Did I use that to make that? I think I did actually. So there is a whole story about that. This was like our
with the tab.
Was it our second year or first year? I don't even remember.
I don't know. We had the tab.
We just new to camping.
We were in the Smokies.
And we found a little fruit stand or something.
Yes.
And I bought some peaches, some fresh peaches, Georgia peaches. And I remember I walked up to the camp store and I said, "Do you have vanilla ice cream?" And they did.
Yeah.
And she said, "Don't you want a flavor?" I'm like, No. I need vanilla because I'm going to make peaches flambé." And she looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. And so, it actually, in that case, and I'm glad you brought that up, though, because a lot of people think of just like open fire, it's like throwing burgers and the grease drips through. But in this case, I actually had that one with the little legs.
Yes.
And I had a cast iron skillet.
You did.
And so in the cast iron skillet, I heated up butter and brown sugar, and I think I had a bottle of rum.
Oh, it was yummy,
and then I threw and when that all started to get happy,
we had a crowd.
Yes, and then we poured it over ice cream. And this is all at a campfire.
People could smell it. They were looking like, what are you guys?
I remember I did the cinnamon trick because I had cinnamon, and I threw the cinnamon in and like it sparkles.
You were just like Cirque du Soleil or something.
I've also done over an open wood fire with a Dutch oven, cast iron Dutch oven, a peach cobbler.
Yes.
And that came out
That's good. Yeah.
So.
You get very creative, you do, because you like to cook.
I do.
I like to eat. You like to cook.
So open wood fire. I actually own a very large cast iron skillet.
We call that a cowboy breakfast.
Yeah, this thing,
massive.
I wished I could even. I don't even know how big it is.
We haven't measured it, but
it doesn't have a single handle. It has like two handles, so you can pick it up because this thing is so heavy. But I used to cook for a lot of people in that, and I'd get my meats going first in there and then kind of shove them off the side. And then we do the potatoes from the grease from the meats. And then we would do
scrambled
eggs at the end.
Yep.
And it was just like a big skillet where people go up and help themselves.
It was we called that our cowboy breakfast.
Yeah, that was a good. Okay.
Yep.
So a second method that I like to use, and I don't do it a lot, is charcoal.
Yep.
Not open wood fire, but charcoal either in the fire pit or if some
Charcoal grill.
charcoal grill.
Yeah.
We used to carry a little
We
tabletop charcoal
did.
grill,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things on a charcoal grill is like hamburgers
That's
and
what
hot
I'm
dogs.
thinking. Burgers.
There is something about lighter fluid and briquettes that just gives it a flavor.
Just gives you that good old fashioned feeling, doesn't it?
It does. I love
a summer feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of people are thinking, when I say charcoal grill, they're thinking like the one I've got sitting out here, a big Weber kettle charcoal grill. But if you're in an RV, we used to just carry a real
Little
small,
one.
The legs folded up and kind of locked it together. And, with just the two of us, we didn't need
a lot of space. Yeah.
Sometimes at state parks, we actually they would install those
right
grills. Mm-hmm. Which is like a metal box with a grate that flips over, and those work perfect if you carry charcoal with you. In fact, I was thinking the other day I probably should buy a couple small bags of charcoal for up in the camp store in case anybody ever needs that and they want to cook. So,
well, I'm sure you've done this on a charcoal grill, but thinking of summer and burgers and charcoal and all that you were talking about there, my grandpa on 4th of July, it was always a tradition. He did chicken legs on charcoal.
Barbecued?
Yep, on the charcoal grill.
And I remember doing that for you.
Yeah.
I think that was back in like 2017. Yeah, it was 2017. It was the year we started our YouTube channel. We were out in Colorado for the 4th of July, and you mentioned that. So we ran to a grocery, and then we charcoaled chicken legs and barbecued them up.
Yeah, you always had that, and then homemade ice cream.
Yeah, that I couldn't provide for you on that trip, but we didn't have the ice cream maker.
Nope. But,
all right, so we got charcoal.
Yes,
That's
we do.
a fun way to cook.
It is fun.
The next step up, I guess, is a gas grill.
Yep.
And a lot of times RVs will come with these little
gas grills.
They used to have them where they'd mount them on the side of the trailer.
But wouldn't it melt your trailer?
I never understood why you'd want to heat that close to fiberglass or even the metal ones.
I didn't get it either.
We actually have a Weber cube.
We do.
It's like the little baby Weber.
It's cute.
But it works for us.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about gas over charcoal is, one, it's ready to cook quickly.
Yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of time if you're in a hurry.
Right. You don't have to wait for coals to burn down and that type of thing. You just instant heat.
And if it's like ours, it's even heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to do a good job for you.
And, you can do anything on a gas grill. And, in fact, I ordered a griddle plate for our Weber. And so our little Weber has 2 grates for, like grilling. I just took one of them out, put the griddle grate in. Now, we still have the other if we need more space. But
and one of the things that I see, the eating part, I'm good at.
I bet I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Grilled vegetables.
Oh.
Like you did like a stir fry on there one time. Like you had a bunch of, like in the summer, you get all the
squash.
Yes, and zucchini and
tomatoes.
And sometimes, anything
I like
on there.
Onions and peppers.
Sweet. What are they called? Sugar snap peas and all that on there. Yummy, yummy.
Well, for me, one of the food items I always remember doing on our little Weber, and we've done it multiple times, is grilled oysters.
Ooh.
With garlic butter.
You're making me hungry.
A little cracker crumb and some Parmesan cheese. And on a gas grill, they work fine because I can close the lid. It allows them to get happy and bubble up and melt the cheese. And
yum, yum.
And so I think a gas grill is pretty common. Again, it's not going to be your big gas grill most likely. Although I have seen campers bring in big gas grills in the bed of their truck. But most of us just carry something small.
That's more practical.
Yeah, and I think it's very versatile. You can do really anything on a gas grill.
And one more thing I would throw out, just because I remember we used to camp a lot with your mom and dad and your sister and brother-in-law and our niece and nephew and friends. But I remember one time we actually made pizzas with the dough and everything. We did them on the gas grill. We cooked them. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We've actually made the dough and we had all the toppings, and kid made their own, and then we made them.
And the great thing now is you can find some really good quality pizza doughs in the refrigerator section at your grocery stores where it's just balled up, and then all you really have to do is roll it out.
It was so fun.
And then I think that's a fun thing when you're camping. If you remember, we would just set up almost like a little pizza buffet where we'd have cheese and and
If you want
different vegetables
tomatoes
and a couple different
meats
and then everybody could just come along with their little personal
and
size
your
dough
sauce and whatever.
and yeah, they could make their pizza and we'd throw it right on the
Kids
grill
loved it.
and I just had a pizza stone that would fit on the
Yeah.
grill
Uh-huh.
and
We need to do that. That was
yeah,
fun.
that was always fun doing
That
those
was lots
little,
of fun. You know, you get the kids that just do sauce and cheese.
right. I think those. I mean, that's something that you could theoretically do over an open fire,
You could.
a wood fire. I mean,
You got your heat hot enough.
Yeah, because if you think about it, there's pizza places out there
Yes.
where they're using those wood-fired, like 700-degree
Absolutely.
ovens. Yeah,
You know what we got to do soon? Pizza.
we're gonna have to do some pizza soon. That is fun at the
Mm-hmm.
campfire. All right, so we've done wood, charcoal,
Yep.
gas.
Yep.
Sticking to the gas thing.
Yep.
I think a very popular cooking component outside is a Blackstone or a Blackstone wannabe.
We love the Blackstone.
Yeah. And the Blackstone, anyone who watched our YouTube channel for years probably remembers years ago, that was all we carried was a Blackstone.
Right.
And we did that primarily because that's when we had the
Space.
Tab 400, and it was with the little 17-inch Blackstone would fit into the outdoor storage. And we actually found that, I think a lot of people, when you think of a Blackstone, you think of things
The
like,
massive big one.
well, that, but I mean, from a cooking standpoint, I think people
Oh.
think of things like doing pancakes on a griddle,
Right.
doing stir fries
Sure.
on a griddle, and all of those are great.
Steaks are
Steaks on a Blackstone are
are
amazing.
so good.
You get that hot sear that
Man.
just sears in
Is
the.
it dinner time yet?
Oh man!
That sounds yummy.
So the Blackstone is
It's
propane
awesome.
powered, and the nice thing is a lot of these RVs, actually all these RVs, come with propane hookups
Yeah.
usually, and so you can get a special cable or hose
Yep.
that will go from your Blackstone right to your RV, and same way with your gas grills, things like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean. So I do like the Blackstone, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. Now we don't use it as much as we used to, but there are certain places where it just makes sense. And again, breakfast, I hate cooking breakfast inside.
It's so messy.
Yeah, and the fact that I can do that outside on the
is
Blackstone,
so much easier.
all that grease stays out
So much
there.
easier cleanup. Oh.
It's one of the reasons why I bought the griddle plate for the Weber, because I didn't want to have to carry both the Blackstone and the Weber. And I
Right.
felt like it was the best of both. And honestly, it's worked out well. I don't think it works as good as the Blackstone.
Right.
The Blackstones just do a really, really nice job.
Yes,
So.
they are. It's good. Good.
All right. And now I think we'll get down to the last one,
Dun,
which
dun,
I am
dun.
seeing more and more of these
And
show
you
up at campsites.
love it.
Yes, and that is a smoker.
You like to smoke.
And you might say, who is going to go camping with a smoker? You
a
would
lot
be
of
shocked.
people do.
You would be shocked how many people carry
A
smokers.
lot of folks coming through Happy Acres here, they
Yep.
have smokers,
Yep.
and you can smell it when you're oh my gosh, it smells so good.
So since I think it was 2019, I
Uh-huh.
bought a Davy Crockett
Yep.
Green Mountain smoker, and the Davy Crockett was like the tailgate version.
Sure.
Small. It was portable. In fact, I had plans of carrying that everywhere.
You had plans, a lot of plans.
And we did in the beginning take
Mm-hmm.
it quite a few times. And that way I could smoke ribs and I could smoke pork, and well, you can really smoke anything.
Anything.
In fact, Mike here at the campground
Does cheese.
he does cream cheese, and it is delicious.
Awesome. I know a girl at school, they do hard-boiled eggs. They smoke
Yep.
them. Like Scotch eggs or something
Right.
they call them.
So, yeah, so you can get these small. Traeger makes a small one. Green Mountain makes a small one. I'm sure there's some other brands out there that make small
Sure.
smokers that you can. Well, even the Ninja has a little
Right.
electric smoker that you can use. And so, the thing that when we used to take ours, to me, a lot of the fun was spending all day
Yeah.
through the smoking process and just hanging out, checking on
Yeah.
the meat, that type of thing. So do we carry a smoker with us all the time? Absolutely
No.
not. Okay. In fact, I just upgraded yesterday our little Davy Crockett because we haven't really taken anywhere in a really long time. So I bought a big Traeger which is not designed for travel. This thing is so
This
big and
is
so heavy.
mammoth. It's a
But
beast.
I can feed the campground with this
You
one.
sure could. You're going to make lots of people jealous when you fill that bad boy up.
I know. I am looking forward to firing up the old Traeger.
Yep. You've been watching, what is that guy called?
Meat Church.
Meat Church. You love Meat Church. And
Right.
you're so excited that the local meat market has the Meat Church.
They carry the Meat Church seasonings, and they are wonderful.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite? We've been talking about some of our favorite things that I've done over the years.
Right.
And I guess the Blackstone, I don't know that we ever really said what your favorite thing on the Blackstone.
Favorite thing on there, I usually think of that as breakfast food that you've done, or the stir-fry stuff, the veggies that you do on there.
And the steaks.
Steaks
again.
are good.
I think people...
Yeah.
I remember the first time I was like, we have this beautiful steak, and I have to throw it on this Blackstone.
But it was
And it was
awesome.
so delicious.
Yeah, it was so good. What it does to the outside is just amazing.
Smoking-wise?
Smoking, I like it when you do your pulled pork. You've done that before. You did that for like a lot of my sister's wedding and some graduations.
I've done a lot of pulled pork over
and
the years.
of course brisket, of course.
Yeah,
is good. Those things. I'm a meat
brisket.
person.
The problem with brisket is it's so expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
to buy a whole brisket
Pulled
easily
pork
will
is
run you
usually
$70 to $90.
And I like pulled pork because you can do it many different ways when you're done. We've done pulled pork like tacos, nachos,
pulled pork sandwiches. Yeah.
But you could probably do a pulled pork omelet.
You could,
if you wanted. But yeah, the pulled pork is just smells so good. And ribs. You did ribs the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, we
on
did
there?
ribs on
the little one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that kind of thing is
brisket
good.
is probably my absolute favorite. But again, the problem is to do a whole brisket. I mean, you either got to plan on freezing, which you can do. I mean, that's a great thing. We do that with the pulled pork because when I smoke a whole pork butt,
there's a lot left over.
There's a lot left over, and I put it in our vacuum sealer in like 1 pound bags, freeze it. And the other nice thing is those bags
are quick meals.
They're quick meals when you're traveling in your RV because we can pull them out of after a long day of travel. Just pull them out of the freezer, microwave them,
and it's just like having it right there.
Yeah,
fresh as can be. It's good.
And so and you could probably do the same thing with brisket.
Probably could.
Where you freeze it.
Oh, just like ribs.
Yeah, ribs you could do that too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just think about the smoked pork chops that we've bought before. We need to try pork chops on our guy because we've purchased them at places at meat markets, and it's like ham. It tastes so good. Yeah, my goodness, you're making me hungry.
Am I missing any other ways to cook outside?
I think you got it all.
I think that's
the ones I can think of.
So, what would be your absolute favorite
way?
Yeah, or something we've done over the years where you're like, yeah, that one sticks out to me. And it could be on any cooking method.
I still think the peaches flambe is going to stick with me.
Flambe, yeah, we've done some. I've done some crazy.
He's crazy.
I'm always I love trying new things. Sometimes they work out, like the peaches flambe.
Sometimes they don't.
And sometimes they don't.
And the pizza over the
pizza,
the grill, that was fun. That's a good fun memory, and we need to keep doing that kind of thing. It's fun when we do it here with our friends at the campground. That'd be awesome.
I think you at a campfire, whether it's a campfire, whether it's the smoker, whatever, I think it brings people together, not only just for food to eat, but like you said with the pizzas, that's fun because everybody can make their own.
Yes.
I mean, you can turn it into an activity.
Like if you have allergies of a certain kind, you can take care of that. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it is so much fun. Those kind of things are just fun to do. Period. So
there's definitely more to s'mores than
more to campfires than s'mores.
There we go. I got it.
Or pudgy pies, or just roasted marshmallows, which I like them black and burnt.
Campfire dinners. Is that what you call them when you wrap them in foil?
Those.
Mom used to do those. Where
that made me think of one more.
All right.
In the campfire, I'm assuming I'm remembering.
Dogs.
Fall. You get the big pot, and we put and you'd have to put something on the outside of the pot. I forget.
But we'd put Dawn dish soap. We'd rub the pot. Yeah, so it's like a big turkey fryer.
Yes.
Pot.
And then you get the meat bags, and you put like veggies in because you're keeping all the meat. And
we do a steamed boiled dinner. So what we would do is, and we always have to do it while sweet corn is still readily available. Because you take the husk from the sweet corn, layer that in the bottom of the pot. That's so stuff doesn't stick.
And with water.
And we put some water.
A lot of water in there.
And then, Patty's right. We buy the meat bags that they wrap like meats in.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like that meshy. I actually ordered them on Amazon. I still
Yeah.
have a ton of them.
Real
And we just fill them up. So sausage.
Yep. Corn, if it's available. Carrots, onion, cabbage,
Potatoes.
kielbasa.
I mean, you can really put anything in there.
And then it is such a healthy meal because, well, one, there's so much. Like at a campground, you can, like we would do
a big pot. And then what we'd do is we would buy those disposable metal pans.
Yeah.
And then when it's all done, so we'd put the lid on, you just let it steam, slow steam we'd let it go for a couple hours or more.
Yeah.
And the longer you let it steam, the more those flavors meld together.
Yes.
And then when it's done, we just use tongs. We pull out a bag at a time, cut the bag open, and dump the food into its own pan. And then we just literally will set up a buffet with all this sausage and all these different vegetables and things. And it's fun because people sit around and you can do that either over an open fire or we've used the turkey fryer before. Where we just use propane.
When it was, because sometimes in late fall we wait too long and then we're in a hurry or we're hungry or whatever. We want a more consistent heat, but that is such a fun one.
Yeah,
and
that's a good one. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and then people just bring, like, we'd always get like fresh breads and desserts to add to it, and it was just great. Fun time.
Very good. Fun time. Speaking of fun time, we should thank our friend and producer,
our fun finder friend,
Mr. Jim Kuzman, who edits this podcast for us each and every time.
Did you like my alliteration there? I was trying to get that figured out.
I think you were, but
fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, got it. Sorry, Jim.
So,
digress.
And we'd like to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to listen to a little bit of jibber jabber once a week.
Jibber jabber.
I feel pretty good. This is going to be 2 weeks in a row we put out an episode.
I know. We're back in the saddle, baby.
Yeah. And now that you're going to be out of school, this should be
it's going to be a lot easier time-wise to be able to get things done that we need to get done. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everyone. Well, until next time, we will see you
on down the road.
Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.